the Rome Yard Community Benefit Agreement with Mr. Rob Rosner. Before we start, let's go ahead and
Carlos, let me press record before you get too deep.
Sure. Okay, so we're recording now. All right, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. If anybody has in the public or online, anything to say, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Randolph, and I'm with the West Tampa CDC. I want to start off by thanking the CAC committee because y'all brought us to this point where there's going to be a real change in West Tampa. There's some quick highlights. We're talking about 40% of minority businesses will benefit from this, especially local businesses. 40% of individuals can be hired with construction jobs. 120 new resident businesses are going to be started, and out of that, 130 new jobs will be created. That's the part of the CDC. And most importantly, the community actually put the input in to make this deal. So I want to thank everybody. Now, what we plan to do with this is to take what we got from this deal and go for what's known as the Community Economic Development Grant. That's $800,000. We're going to use that $800,000, come back to West Tampa, and make that $8 million by going to your banks and going to in your other financial institution, armed with the most recent survey that showed that in West Tampa, there has been redlined districts. So we'll be going after that money. We're going to take that $8 million, and then we're going to go after $80 million to do affordable housing, economic development, and all those other things related to public safety. So, folks, this is just the start. I'm happy to be part of this partnership. The only thing I have in reference to the contract itself goes to page 3, number 5, when it talks about the West Tampa Cultural Center. I'm concerned from the West Tampa CDC side of the table that we definitely want to request that we be part of that, that committee, because we want to be able to have a art center that reflects the history of West Tampa. So people can know, especially the African American population, so they can know how did it happen that you got here, what are you doing, and what are the same great leaders in the community. That's why it's important that we be on there to make sure we definitely tell the West Tampa story as well. Other than that, this is an excellent proposal. We plan to make money, y'all. Again, thank you to the CAC.
Sir,
And I'm happy about that provision. My only concern is, on one hand, that's good, but then I'm thinking there's folks that certainly we'd want to help that are going to be above that 140%. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head, you have a teacher, 2 teachers, starting out. Well, they might be ideal purchasers, but they're above 140%. They might be 160%. I guess before I was thinking that they were going to be a mix of market rate and affordable. So that wasn't that wasn't an issue. But now that they're all going to be affordable, on one hand, that's good. But then on the other hand, people that I think would be great additions to the neighborhood are going to be a little bit above that 140%.
I'm not so sure that's the case anymore, Jeanette. We're finding a lot of teachers and nurses and firefighters can't afford and can't meet the 140% threshold. So, and this was done largely to try to make sure that the townhomes were kept in private ownership for private use and were not bought out by corporations and then used,
And that was my original concern that I had brought up, because I was so afraid.
We heard you, and we heard others too say that exact same
so
thing.
this is the tool that was used to try to make sure that was done, and it was also it helped with the affordability as well.
But thank you. I think overall it's a very good effort.
Always a pleasure, Jeanette. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeanette. Go ahead, Ms. Delphine.
Yes, so at what phase do we insert what Michael Randolph talked about on page 3? I think it was number 5, the culture center CDC being involved. 'Cause I think that's a very important aspect.
What we can do is we can take the
the
comments that
chamber.
y'all are making today back and see if we can make changes and substitute it if they're relatively minor, and we will ask related about that. If not, then we'll just have to work at making sure that you all are inserted to the extent we can, that the CDC is in the
And
lease
chamber.
agreement where that facility is going to be built. So